Hello class, my name is Heather Curley, and my goal for this semester was originally to get same-sex marriage passed in Rhode Island. My goal was to change an existing policy and to present a new bill in order to change public policy, which would be to allow the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer community the right to get married. I chose this project for many different reasons. I chose this project because I am gay and I have a partner whom I care deeply about, who I would like to marry. I chose this project because I feel like I would like to see this social injustice fixed. I believe that marriage is not just a religious institution. Marriage is much more than that. Marriage, the fact that a couple can get married entitles them to several different rights that a non-married couple gets. Some examples would be Social Security, death benefits, pensions, health insurance, stuff like that. It is said that there are 1,132 rights that a married couple gets. That is a quote that Marriage Equality uses often in order to sway public opinion. Marriage equality to some people, I think, means that we just want to get married, that we want to have a wedding, that we want to get married in a church. But it's a much deeper thing than that. It is in order to feel protected. It is a partnership so that you can have the rights that same-sex couples don't get. You get those rights that heterosexual couples have. And it's a very, very personal issue to me. But also I feel like even if I wasn't gay, it would be a great issue to me because I think that it's discrimination that same-sex couples cannot get married. I feel as though it is promoting inequality and social injustice, and therefore I would like to see it changed. When starting this project, my original goal was to get same-sex marriage passed in Rhode Island. But in looking at the legislative calendar, I knew that this is not something that would be feasible during this semester, just based on the legislative calendar. And the reason why I talk about the legislative branch is very important. The legislative branch is really the only way that same-sex marriage will get passed in Rhode Island. Due to research from Marriage Equality of Rhode Island, which is the group I ended up joining, it is said that that is the only chance Rhode Islanders have. We cannot pass it through the courts because the courts are very conservative, and we are not going to make a voter referendum. Some people say, well, why don't you let the people of Rhode Island vote? I don't think that should happen. I do not believe that a majority should vote on the rights of the minority. If that were the case, we probably would still have segregation and we would not have women's rights. It is never fair to vote on the rights of someone. So that is key here. So we decided to go through the legislature. This looked to be a great year when I first began this project. We have a governor who is pro-equality, which is something that we have not had in over 8 years. The Speaker of the House is gay. He is openly gay, and he would like to see this passed. And the House and the Senate are both compromised. The majority is Democrats, and Democrats have a better record in voting for pro-equality. So we thought that this was going to be a great year. It wasn't, and I will tell you that why in a minute. So when I first started out this project, I did some research. I decided I wanted to know what I wanted to do. I think in this class I learned the power of social media. I think I learned how important social media was, and I learned that the online community can be a wonderful thing. So that was something that I told Marriage Equality that I would like to help with. So I decided I would join Marriage Equality and become a volunteer. It was a very, very exciting time when I joined because Rhode Island was the only state besides New York right now that looks like they could pass marriage equality. So the Human Rights Campaign had flown in people to help volunteer, which I thought was just really great because I would have a chance to work with the Human Rights Campaign, which if you know about the Human Rights Campaign, they're a huge national organization. So I was just very, very excited to work on this project. So my first couple weeks involved the bill going to the committee. So I went to the House and Senate testimonies Testimonies are when the public comes to the State House and they give personal testimonies as to why the bill should be passed. So part of my first project with social media was to get people to go to the State House, which is not an easy task because you never know when the bill is going to be called. You find out 24 to 48 hours before. Luckily, Marriage Equality of Rhode Island is an established organization, so they already had things set up in place. They had an email list, they had a Facebook page, they had things such as that. So my job was to go online, to get people going, to get people to go to the events. We ended up having a great turnout in the House and the Senate, and we had many, many more pro-equality supporters than we did anti-equality. It looked at that moment that we were going to pass it out of the committee. The House Judiciary Committee said that they would like a vote as soon as possible. So in the beginning of my project, things were looking very, very good. My next task was to do some phone banking and canvassing. Phone banking is when you are calling constituents of representatives, and you're calling them and asking them to vote on marriage equality. You're asking them to call their legislators, to have their legislators vote for marriage equality. And it was also a very social media type aspect that we used for phone banking. I pictured sitting in an office with a phone dialing people. Everything was done electronically. You had everything done electronically. You had a cell phone, but everything was hooked up to the computer, and you could transfer calls. You could leave smart messages through the computer. So technology was great. We could call people at the same time. We had a room full of people, and we made 800 calls a night, and it was just amazing to me. And we didn't even ask the people that got the phone calls to make the calls themselves. We just hit a button, transferred them to their representative, and it was just amazing. I also attended many rallies at colleges and universities, and my job was to use the Facebook page to get the word out, to create Facebook events. With a Facebook event, instead of reaching 100 people, we were reaching 1,300 people. So that was just awesome. I thought that was just great. So besides the Facebook stuff, we also created a Facebook fan page because Marriage Equality had just a friend page on Facebook. So we set up a fan page. A fan page allows you to get the maximum number of friends. Marriage Equality had close to 5,000 friends, so they were at the limit. So they changed over to a fan page so that they could get more people. So if you go on Facebook.com and you search Marriage Equality Rhode Island, the fan page comes up. So it's a way to keep the community informed. We also did an online donation page where you could just go online, you could donate to Marriage Equality because Marriage Equality needs funds from donors in order to keep going. Even though this isn't a grassroots organization, it's a nonprofit, there are still ways to donate to help Marriage Equality continue the great work that they were doing. Also, we set up a page where you could just do an online petition. One of the greatest ways to reach legislators is to have people write personal testimonies and send letters. It's just one of the best ways to reach them. Instead, we had people do it online and send it right to their email. So that was a way to, cut out all the steps. Because I think sometimes it's hard to depend on people to write a letter, to put a stamp on the envelope, and then to send it out. So this was a way to get people to actually just click a button and be able to write what they wanted to write and send it right out. So that was something that was done quickly, and it just saved a lot of work in between. So it was a very quick way to do things. As for the bill, unfortunately, it just didn't work out. We got a lot of opposition from the Catholic Church. We also got a lot of opposition from other powerful organizations such as the Family Research Council and National Organization for Marriage. They put a lot of money into preventing same-sex marriage from happening in Rhode Island. They did everything in their power to make sure that this bill would not pass. They would have people who are not constituents to call. They were using a nationwide system. So we were up against so much opposition. And the bill was not voted out of committee for for another year.